Hello and welcome to another Username Nerd video. We are doing board game tutorials, and this is one of my favorite. By the way, my name is Mike Hewitt, and with me I have Melissa Hewitt. How are you doing?
Hey,
my
good.
Beautiful wife. She's going to help me discuss this. This is one of our favorite games.
Yeah.
And very easy game to learn. It's really simple. There's a lot to this game, but it's really just a very fun game.
Yeah, there seems like there's a lot of pieces and a lot of things to explain, but it's
really
really
goes. It's
very
out of
simple.
most of the games, it's one of the quickest that we learn.
Yeah, we've introduced it to several of our friends. And
yeah, they all love it. So the first thing we want to talk about is game setup, the board setup itself. And so one of the first things you see, this is your main board, and these are personal boards. They're only it's 2 to 4 players. You have to have at least 2 players. There is an expansion that allows you to play 5 players, but today it's just going to be us 2. But to set up this board, why don't we go ahead and set the food up?
Okay.
The food is set up in this general vicinity. I'll let you show them up there.
Yeah, we got 10, 5s, 2s, 1s.
And really all it is different denominations. It's just like dollar bills. Having 10 is just having one single. So you could have 10 of the ones or 1 and 10. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you kind of make changes.
Yeah, make changes,
needed.
whatever you do. And then go ahead.
There are more food pieces just for purposes.
And then going around, you just match the pieces up. There is wood that goes in that wood general area, and there are 28 pieces. And it's kind of important to have 28 pieces because if somebody takes them all, then there's no more wood. I mean, if there's no more wood to get, you're done. Then there is clay. And there's 18 resources there. You have stone, which there are 12. And then we have gold, that is 10. And then the next section is this section right here, and that is tools. Let's go ahead and put in there. And there are a couple different ways of tools. There are, 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. And basically, when you get a tool, you find a 1, and then you take that 1 to your board, and we'll explain that later. And 2 is kind of the same thing. It's just the second level. So you never take a number 2 on the beginning. Then we have cards. Go here, and you just shuffle these up real quick. And the way they set up is you just set up 4 here. Can you sit up there? I'm a little farther away. Sorry. Yeah, and you just flip the first 4 over. And that is it there. We'll explain that later. Next is huts. You basically this is a way of deciding how long you want the game. If you want a very short game, you stack like 3 each here.
You've got 7 buildings for each, and then there's 2 of us playing, so we have 2 stacks.
Oh, so there is only, gotcha. And then if you have 3, you have 3 stacks and 4, and go there. There is a modification if you want a shorter game, you can
we have
those.
Done that before. We don't have enough time to play a full game.
And then the other thing is, let's get the meeples over here. And they are called meeples because they are people that are you. So we have blue and yellow that are playing. And in there, you'll see a couple of these things. One of the small ones goes here, and this is your farm marker. Do you have another? There's a small one there. So there's 2 there, and then the bigger ones go up in the corner on actually 20. Is that true? No, that's a different game. Sorry. It starts at 0. Sorry, just mix that up with a different game. And so then we put that, and then what you do is you only keep 5 of your people here, and there is a reason. And then these, don't hold on to these. Somebody who is like a banker, take them and put them all together because you're not allowed to take them, and we'll explain that a little later. And then that is pretty much it for the setup. Pretty basic. And we'll go from there. The game is played in as many rounds as there are to end the game, and I'll explain how to end the game. But each round is divided up into 3 different phases. First of all, we need to actually, one thing we forgot is setting up the board that needs 12 food each person gets 12 food over here. And I'm actually going to...
Yeah, however you want to split that up.
I'm going to give you that.
That's what
Yeah. And so then the way this is run, the first of the phases is actually there's one more piece over there if you can get it. It's whoever's first marker. And this is not necessarily the best in the world, and sometimes we use something else because there are little legs.
And they fall off.
And your cord is in the shot. No problem. And they just fall off just like that. So we're going to say I'm first. Okay, well, you can be first. Okay, so we'll set you up there. And so then the first phase is you have your village, right? And this is your village. You're going out into the world. And so what you can do is there's all these different sections, and it's basically a circle. There's a big one here.
This is unlimited, so as many people that want to put out their meeples here.
But there's, if you can see, there's ones on the cards. There's one on the building tiles. They're all over the board, and we're going to go ahead and explain that. But what you do is when it's your turn, you choose one section. That could be the cards, or that could be this, that, there's different sections. We're going to talk about the different sections, and you put out as many as you want in that section, and then the next person goes, and then it comes back, and you can put in a different section. You can never do this same section twice. So go ahead.
Like I couldn't put out
in the
two
wood,
people there, your turn, and then I'm
and then later on she wants to put more in wood on the second.
No.
You can't do that. You can only do that once. So let's go ahead and go through them. The first little section is the tools right here. There's one spot. And so if you're first, what that does is you go ahead and put one out there. And then what that does is when you come back, you'll get that. And basically what tools helps you do is it helps you modify your dice. So say you rolled a 7 or an 8 and you had one tool, you can make that 8 a 9, or you can make that 7 an 8. Say you have 3 tools, you can make that 3 a 6. So it basically just ups your dice roll.
But you can't save any. If you only need 2 of 3 tools, you just lose one.
Kind of go through that. And so that is definitely tools. The next part is, this is called the hut, or the baby making factory, and you have to put 2 out there. So if you can't just put 1.
2 to tango.
When you do that, you have to put both of them out there, and that is one other section. Then the next important one is the farm. And basically over here, you see we've already started at 0 farms. You're going to need to feed your people later, and you have to go out and hunt for it. Or if you start doing the farm, it's actually a cheaper way of getting food. And that's one of the most important things in the game, I feel like.
Yeah, feeding your people so they stay alive and can continue to go out and gather things.
So basically you get a free food without having to go out there and get it.
Yes,
and
that
is
usually taken first. Yay.
Yeah. So then the other next couple sections are there's food, wood, clay, stone, and gold. And these are big resource sections. You can put as many as you want in food, so you just dump them in there. But remember, don't put 2 or 3 and then later on be like, oh, I want to put a couple more, because you can't. Once you've put them there, you keep going until the phase is all done. There are 7 spots for wood, 7 spots for clay, 7 for stone, and 7 for gold. So if I put all my guys out in wood, nobody else can get any more wood. Or if I put it all on gold, you're kind of stuck.
Exactly.
So there's that. And let's go ahead and go through a little bit of that. So, put me all on wood.
Okie-dokie.
And we'll, when we're bringing our people back, we'll explain how to get that. And then there are cards, and there's going to be a section on cards and how that works, and huts as well. But those are the sections. So on cards and huts, the same rule applies. You can only put one on this circle. There's circles on each cards. So if I put one out here, I can't come back after someone else has come and put a different card. The same as huts. If I put one here on the hut,
then he couldn't.
I couldn't put. I couldn't come and put another one here. If that makes sense. So go ahead and put all your people out. And some people put all theirs out. If you have a 4-player game, I could put all mine out and be done. And then person 2 is still, puts out one. Person 3 puts out one. Person 4 puts out a couple. And when it comes back to me, it just skips me because all my people are out. So you just keep going until everyone's out.
You can only do it in sections. And so,
so
you can't be like, well, I want to put one
if
person
you're
here,
first,
one person here,
right.
3 people. You've got to be like, okay, this phase, I want to put my people here. Next phase, okay, I want to put some people here.
If you're first, you can't just say, well, I'm just going to put some in wood and some in gold. No, I have to put it in wood, and then it goes to the next person. They might put it in gold. And the first person goes, whoever's first, we play out the round and do all 3 phases of going out, bringing your people back, and feeding, and then it goes to the next person. So everybody gets a shot at being first, getting something, which normally ends in one of these 3 main sections, either farming, the hut,
so
or
there's
that.
very limited spaces there.
And that is basically, you're just sending all your people out, and you go until all your people are out. And that is basically phase 1. Now, phase 2. Phase 2, now that all your people are out, they're out in the world working for you, now they're going to come back to your village with resources. And so whoever's first, we kind of did this, you put out one section, next person, until everyone out. Whoever's first is going to just bring all their people back at once. And then it goes around the table. And you can bring them back in whatever order you want. And sometimes that is important. Because
you need some resources here to purchase something over there, then you're going to want to bring back your resources first so that you then have those resources
before you can do something over here. Or before you do this, you might want to bring back your tool first that could help you to get more clay. So go ahead. How are you going to bring? Go ahead and we'll just kind of roll this out.
Go around. I've got one.
Well, normally you bring back the farm first, so that moves you up to 1 in farms. Let's go ahead and that's always, and you just always take 1. Now, if you already had a 1, you don't need to take another one. Well, you can actually. It benefits you to have 1 and then bring another 1. And then you could keep going with another 1. And then when you get to since there's 3 spots, when you bring back your nether tool on like maybe say round 4, say you got really lucky and you've done every one. This is round 1, this is round 2, round 3, and round 4. You don't take another one of these. You actually flip it to 2, and then you do that. And then when you have all 2s, then you can do 3 and pull a 3, if that makes any sense. And the reason is when you use this to up, you need to tap it. Which is kind of turning it 90 degrees, saying that has been used. So if you have a 2 like this, and you've tapped the 1, and you tap the 1, and you have this 2, you can't split it up. You can't use half of it, You can't use half of it. You have to use it in one whole section.
So it's nice to have the 1 option. If you.
So you always go the lowest you can first. So now that you have that back, what are you going to bring back next?
Food.
So the way this works is you're going to roll 1 dice per meeple you have out there. Right here, she's going to roll 1 dice, and over here, she's going to roll 2. I'm going to roll 3, and so you rolled a 3. Correct. Now, and what you do is you total that number up, which is 3, and you divide it by 2. Food is divided by 2, and it's right here. Food is divided by 2. Wood is divided by 3. Clay is divided by 4, stone is divided by 5, and gold is divided by 6, and you always round down. So right now she rolled a 3 and divided by 2, so she'd only get 1 food
unless I tap my
unless
tool.
you tap your tool.
Then I now have technically 4,
and you could get 2 food.
And I could get 2 food.
Are you going to do that?
Yeah, I am, just to show them. But
okay, and so then the next thing is we have clay over there. Go ahead and roll 2.
2 dice. Come on.
and you rolled 8, which is pretty perfect because you divide that by 4, so you get exactly 2 back. So it's the harder it is to roll, the further you go up. So if you have 1 here and you roll a 6, you're going to get 3 food. If you have 1 over here and you roll a 6, you're only going to get 1. So it's the harder it makes sense. The harder you goes up. So my turn. I have 5 people out there. I am going to bring these people back first, and when they come back from the hut, I'm going to bring a baby back. So now I'm going to have 6 people. Let's go ahead and give me 3. And this I have, looks like 10. But divided by 3, that's, I can only do it by 9. So I only get 3 wood back. You can hand me 3. So now we're at the last phase of each round, and the last phase is basically feeding your people. You're first, so you have 5 people, so you need to spend 5 food, but now you have a farm. So actually, it's like feeding 1 person for free. So if you have 5 people and you're feeding 1 for free, now you only have to pay 4 food. Now and you just put it back into the food. Me, I'm on the exact opposite. I had 5. Now I have 6. So I've got to feed 6. And I have no farms, so I actually have to feed it. There's 7. Can you give me 1 back?
Okay.
And that is feeding people. And that completes the round. And then we start completely over. We pass it on to the next person, and then I get to go and put it out. And then, she goes, and we send our people out. We bring them back in, and we feed them. So now we have building tiles. These over here, and I'll explain these. First of all, how to win the game. There are these, if you look at all the, the ones that are by 10, so 50, 60, 70, 80, there's an actual circle. And anything with that circle is victory points, basically. And so if you want to move that back, I'm sorry, that's bugging me. It's at 1. So right here, to get this hut, actually is going to give you 14 victory points. And it's going to actually cost you, if you look at it, it's going to cost you 1 brick and 2 stone. And if you look at that, these numbers kind of correspond. So 2 stone is 5 each and 1 clay. And if you do 2 5s and 1 4, it actually equals 14. So what you're really paying is how many victory points you're actually getting.
Yes, these are the points scored by the player, and then the resources required.
Right. Yeah. And so when you put your person out there and you bring them back, you're going to bring this back and pay those and put them back in. And so this is 14. Going through these, I'm going to go ahead and go through these a little bit.
That one will vary, the one with the question mark.
Right. And so what do we've got a wood, a brick. That's pretty self-explanatory. This is a very interesting one here. We actually, there's 2 different ones with this, and the ones with the question marks vary. And the reason is because this takes 3 different kinds of resources, but it takes 5 resources, but they have to be 3 different kinds. So what that means is this. This takes 5 of something out there, whether it's wood, stone, brick, or gold. It takes 5 of them, but it has to be at least 3 different kinds. So it could be 2 wood, or it could be 3 wood, a brick, and a stone. It could be, 2 stone, brick, and gold. But it can't be 5 wood. Does that make sense? Yep. So it has to be 3 different kinds, and it has to be 5.
And the reason it varies is because
and the reason why this is, whatever it comes up is going to, you're going to add those victory points up. Can you give me 2 wood? Actually, give me 3 wood, 1 brick, and 1 stone. And then can you give me 1 brick, 1 stone, and 3 gold? Now, This could be purchased by this or this, and it's going to be two totally different things. So we have a stone, which is 5, a brick that's 4, that's 9, and then this is 9. So this right here, you can purchase this for 18 victory points. Now over here, you have, this is worth 6, 6, and 6, so this is 18 plus another 5, which is 23, and then this is another 4, so 27. So this is 18, but this is 27. So it all depends on what you want to do. You can buy them really cheap, or you can actually spend a lot and get more victory points. But the victory points are based on whatever you purchase it with. And I'll go ahead and put those back. Okay. And there are different kinds of that. Do you have that one over there? See, this is another version of it. You need 5 actual resources, but 4 different kinds. So that's another version. Now let's go through this. Any of those? Yeah, here is another one. So this one says it could be any 7. So go ahead and can you give me 7 gold and 1 wood? Yeah, sure. And then give me a brick and a stone. And that 1 more gold there. So this one right here can be purchased by this, or this. So what it's saying is it can be purchased with 1 of anything. So I can actually purchase this for 1 wood, and that will give me 3 victory points. Here's another example. I could do just 2, which is a stone and a brick. That's 9. And that's another, I can buy it for 9. Or I can buy it with 7 resources. It could be 7 bricks. It could be 7 stone. But if I bought it with 7 gold, that's 42 points. 42 victory points. So this card can be drastically different. It could be 3 victory points or 42 victory points. So that's another example of how. The game is over when one of a couple things happens. You get to the bottom of one of these stacks, or these cards run out. That's it, right? Yeah. That's all I can think of. That's how it almost always ends. So there is that. That is basically builders' huts. And when bringing these back, there will be some other victory points we can explain later with these cards, but that is pretty much everything with victory of builders' huts. And a couple other things we need to talk about. Whenever you are done and you fed your people, your tools actually reset. Yes. We might have missed that. The other thing is there are 5 spots for your builder huts or builder tiles. Just because you have 5 doesn't mean you're limited to that. You can put all 5 and then stack on top of them. That is a little different than the tools, but you can do that. The next section are the civilization cards. Now, these civilization cards are purchased by, what I would do is I would put this out there like that. And then when I'm bringing my people back, there are these things up here. And this basically means I can use any resource to bring this back. So this I can purchase when I bring this back. I have to spend a wood, a stone, a brick, or a gold. Doesn't matter what, just one of them to go back. This one right here is 4, this one's 3, this one's 2. So this is obviously the best. And so when I bring this back and we feed our people and we're resetting the board, all these move down, and then the next card is picked. And then when these are actually all gone, that is when the game could end that way. So these could be gone, yes. The game ends, or if we get down to the bottom, like people purchase these and we get down to the bottom of one of these stacks.
Correct.
So then the next real part is going through all these cards and explaining them. So I'm going to kind of move these.
Well, and I'd like to point out that if you're running out of civilization cards in the pile, then the game ends immediately without starting the new round. However, if it's at the bottom of that pile, you do finish out the round.
Gotcha. Okay. So as soon as the last card's pit, you're done. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So let's go ahead and go through these. So a few of this one right here, there are two different sections of the card. So when you're bringing this card back, this right here will give me a free brick. Depending on how it works, it's obviously not good to spend 4 for 1 brick. The bottom part of it is always at the end of the game. So when I bring this back, I keep this here. And they're basically multipliers. So for every meeple I have, I'm going to get 2 victory points. It's because there's 2 kind of people here. And so at the end of the game, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Well, I have 6 people, so there's 12. I'm going to get 12 victory points. So when the game is over, we're going to look at these cards, and I'm going to say, I need to go 12 more. And so that is the bottom part. If it's green on the bottom part, I'm going to explain that a little bit later. And
there's just 2 options, green or sand at the bottom.
There's just 2, green or sand. Actually, I'll explain that right now. The green is this kind of chart right here. And what this means is for every green card, it's exponential. So if I have 1 green card, at the end of the game, I'm going to get 1 victory point right here. 1 card, 1 victory point. Say at the end of the game, I have 2 green cards. I'm going to get 4. So it's whatever it is on top of each other. So if I have 8 green things, I'm going to get 64. It's whatever it's on top of each other.
Yeah.
And so then we have this card right here. This card is going to get us 2 food. And at the end, I'm going to get I'm going to get a victory point for every hut I have.
Yes, during the final scoring.
And then, so we have this card right here. At this, I'm going to get 4 tools, and this is actually a temporary tool. So what that means is if I bring this card back, I get to use this once, and only once. It doesn't mean I get 4 free tools. So if if I'm on stone, and I roll 2, and I have a 6, I could tap this and make it a 10 and get it. But I only get to use it once. Now, there is one in here, and I'm going to go through it real quick. Here's another one, 2, but that's a one-time thing. Here's a 3, one-time thing. Dun, dun, dun. Hold on. Here. No. And I don't see it. Oh, here. This one right here it actually has a +1. And what this means, this is not a one-time use. So these are a one-time use. This right here actually gives me a free tool when I bring it back. So that is a little bit tricky. So the one with the plus actually means I get one of these, where these are just a one-time thing. So if you're going to go for green cards, get a lot of them, because going from a 7 green cards to an 8 is a difference between 49 points, and then when you get that extra one, it goes to 64. If you have 10, you're going to get 100. So it's whatever it is on top of each other. If you have 11 green cards, it's 11 times 11. So here's another one. At the top, when you bring this guy back, you're going to get 3 victory points. And at the end of the game, you're going to get 3 for every hut. So say I have 5 huts, I'm going to get 15 victory points. Now let's say I have both of these. If I have 5 huts, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. So that means 5 times 4. So I'm going to get 20 victory points for these two. So it also is important if you are going for a lot of people. If, say, you have 10 people, it might be good to go for the meeple cards. If you have a lot of huts, it's good to go for the hut cards. If you have a lot of tools, you can go through that. Basically, there's one with a free gold. This one right here says you can get any 2 resources you want. So when you bring it back, you could go for wood, but most times people are going to get 2 gold. This obviously gives you 5 food. This one right here is a little bit weird. Basically, when you bring it back, you're going to roll 2 dice, and then you're going to divide it by wood. So it's basically the same as having 2 people on forest. This one right here, do you know the rules on that one? Look up the rules on that one. These 2 right here are very important cards because at the end, and when you bring them back, you actually get another farm. Farm is very important in this game. I think the only last thing we need to talk about are these cards, and there are a lot of them. And these are the auction cards. Do you have on that one?
It just says the player takes the top civilization card from the pile, looks at it, and puts it on top of his civilization cards. This card
basically
is used
you
only
get an
for
extra
the final
card.
Scoring. Its upper section has no effect.
So basically, when you bring this
Just
one back,
one.
you're going to get another card, which is nice because it could be another green card. It could be stuff like that. The last card we need to talk about is this card right here, and there are all kind. I mean, if you look, there's a bunch of them and it has this kind of. Like right here, here's a bunch of them. And the way this card works is this. You take however many people are on the board. When you bring this card back, say there's 4 people, you're going to take, or let's say I have 3 dice. So there's 3 people. You roll 3 dice, okay? And right now I rolled a 6, 1, 1. And if you're the person who brought it back, you get to choose what you want for free. And so you can either choose, in this card, a 6 is a farm, and then there are 2 woods. As being the first person, you would want to take the farm. So you take the farm, and then it goes to the same around the board. So the next person would choose what they want. They would want, say right now it's 2 woods, so it's kind of not important. But say you had a wood and a gold. The next person would choose a gold or a wood, and then it goes around, and everybody gets something when it comes to this, which is kind of nice. It always is nice for the person, if the person to the right of you does it, or if you do it. If you're the last person, you kind of just get a piece of wood, but you could get a farm or a tool.
Free.
Yeah, but it's free. And that is basically civilization cards. They're very important for the end.
Yeah, the green ones have like medicine, art, writing, poetry.
Yeah, they all have different, different kind of artifacts, which really don't mean anything. But they are just, there's a flute. It doesn't really matter.
Music and weaving.
It's just you take those, and I've won many games by having 10 green cards and just really going through it. It adds up very, very quickly, and that is civilization cards. So the last section when you talk about is when the game is over, when there's no more building tiles or the actual cards run out. That is when you start totaling up. And we've kind of talked about totaling up. You do your cards, you go around, you do all the green cards, then you do all the tan cards and get your points set up. During the game, points like huts build up, but it's really going to boost at the end, and it's going to be a game where you don't really know who wins or loses until the very end when you're adding up the points. Once you have all the points up, there's one other way. For every resource you have, doesn't matter what resource it is, not food, but if each one of these is actually worth 1 victory point. So if you have 1 wood and 1 gold, both of them are worth 1.
I made that mistake in my first game.
Gold is not...
I'm going to win this. I have all gold to add up at the end.
Yeah, gold is not as important. I mean, it's just the same as wood.
Didn't work that way.
And so once you have all that up, ties. Go ahead and tell us about ties.
So the player, in case of a tie, the tied players compare some of their agricultural level,
which is their farms,
total tool value, and the acquired figures to determine who the winner is.
So you add up your meeples. That's the way to break ties. But that is the game. It's a really fun game.
I'm winning.
It gets really, really addictive. And it's very simple. You have a village, you send your people out, you bring them back in, you feed them, and you do it over and over again until the end of the game. It's a blast to play.
Yeah, and there are different strategies people can take, like you said. If you're going to focus on the civilization cards, or you're going to focus on.
There are definitely people that never get more than 5 people, and then there are people that are always out there trying to get more people, and they end up 10. Some people do the tools. They always try to get as many tools as possible to help them out. And then farming. I mean, there's so many different ways of doing this. Some people choose huts. I mean, that's the beauty of this game.
Yeah, I really,
Yeah, it's a fun game.
It. Yeah, and it's, like I said, simple and...
Yeah. Definitely comment if you like this game. Definitely comment on different strategies you like, and like this video and subscribe. Thank you, and stay nerdy.
Okay, stop. Don't go to the next YouTube video or channel or skip or don't do anything. Real quick, 5 seconds. We have 3 different channels. Please subscribe to them. Username Nerd News, username Nerd Comics, username Nerd Games. We have separated them out into 3 ones. Choose all of them or just one to subscribe to. You'd love it. I promise you, we'll give you great content. It'll show up in your feed. You'll love it. Just real quick click. It doesn't take but a few seconds. You'd be awesome. Thank you. I mean, you're really awesome. Thank you.